We're back in Needham today, and last time we were here, we were in the process of installing windows. Some of these we were getting set up with, and now these ones are done. So wanted to kind of walk you through, give you an overall look at what we have going on. They are traditional gelled-win flange windows, so we do have a nailing flange. We've talked about our taping detail. Check out that video if you want to see exactly how we technically installed these. But this is a more traditional for these American build homes. A lot of you guys on Instagram are talking about like how the US doesn't use punched windows or European style windows. We do. On this project we didn't. So these are a gelled-win sightline product. Really nice. We actually had a couple different samples when we started this job for the client to kind of touch, feel, and also understand which they liked the best. And ultimately that's how we ended up with these. But I wanted to kind of show you what we have going on back here because, well, there's a lot of windows and there's a lot of detail. On the inside is where a lot of this detail is going to come together. This is going to be a future dining room. And what you have are what I'm going to call floor to ceiling windows, mainly because they are sitting all the way on the floor. The guys have done a really good job removing these extension jambs. It's because we have a character grade floor that's going to be running all the way through, and then we want them to tie into the floor in a really seamless way. So we pull those off and we'll get that floor tight right up against it. And then how we're going to detail all of the molding, well, we've worked with Peak Design Group as well as Kuchen Brothers. They've been helping us with their classical molding line. One of the things that we paid really close attention to is making sure that all of these were exactly the same height. We want to make sure that they're the same distance apart. We want to make sure we're not making more work for the trim carpenter, basically making that piece different all the way around. So the guys have been doing a really good job setting benchmarks, setting lasers, making sure that everything is in the right spot. So we opted to do these as separate windows rather than mulling them together because of some of this profile in between the windows. And above the window in this room we actually have beams. So we want to make sure above our casing we have some room above that to make sure that our beams can be on our ceiling. Speaking of beams, in this living room here, now our secondary framing is installed. So we have this faux roof line. Essentially kind of emulating a gable roof. And then on this side it looks as though it's dormered. So in the final condition here, we'll have these really large timber trusses. So the team over at Chevcon actually blocked in between these rafters for us. So when we get those timber trusses installed, we have blocking to attach to. And those will come down in between our windows. Speaking of these windows, we've actually built a secondary wall, and this is strictly aesthetic. What it really gives us is these awesome punched window openings. The sides are actually tapered slightly, the bottom tapered more aggressively, and really helps pour the light into here. It's gonna make that opening look larger, and then when it's in its final condition, that all gets plastered, flaring that light out, pouring it in, and then paired with the trusses above, it's gonna look really nice. This week we also started our plumbing rough. So Dart Mechanical is on site. They're getting their stuff located and figuring out, where they're gonna head down and where they're gonna head up. And what the reason for that is we have a finished basement in the final condition of this home. We wanna make sure that drains are going in spots that don't impact things like the ceiling height. Of course, you can just soffit around drain pipes in the basement, but we want to be really intentional and make sure we're thinking about the final condition of the basement prior to just running drain lines everywhere. So being really methodical. Mike's doing a great job supervising that, working with the team at DARB, making sure they're in a spot that does not impact its final condition. So again, being intentional with that. And then over here, we have one of the powder rooms, which will have a urinal in it as well in this closet. You can see, this is exactly what they're doing, getting all of their holes drilled. Biggest thing that we want to pay attention to is where the toilets are going. In this home, we are using floor-mounted toilets. That is the aesthetic choice. And out of the entire home, we only hit one floor joist, which is not bad. Obviously, we would have loved for 0 impacts, but there's always just one. So we have a little bit of detailing on that. And the final thing is we got the entire roof all ice and watered. We're prepped for our DaVinci slate. So a lot of you guys have been asking what we're using. We are using the DaVinci multi-width synthetic slate. That is the product that we've opted to use on this home. It's in a beautiful gray color. And from here, what we have to do is we're gonna be installing our gutter brackets for our future half-round gutters. We're gonna be installing some sheet metal in all of our valleys. We are doing a closed valley. We're also working with DaVinci. They actually sent us a detail in order for us to vent. So a lot of you guys have been asking, well, are you gonna be spray foaming the roof? We're not spray foaming the roof. We are doing a Rockwool comfort bat in the roof, and we're baffling that roof. So if you look over here, we talked about it before, but just to point it out, if you look over here, you can actually see our soffit is completely vented. That vented cavity will go up, baffle above our wall plate because we need our airtight layer, above our wall plate, and then go all the way up the roof and then out the ridge vent like a traditional vented roof, keeping that backside of the roof ventilated like it's intended to do. With obviously a complex roof structure, with all of the sweeping and the curved roofs, it's been really challenging, but Mike and the guys at Chevcon have done a really great job detailing that. So even when it is curving, we're still baffling that and making sure we have a cavity to get that fresh air in the soffit, up and out through the attic.